What's up, ya hooligans? Utah Police and Midday Profile MC members by Dave Irish Dorman. Motorcycle profiling is an issue that knows no state bounds. From coast to coast, police and other governmental agencies are violating the constitutional rights of motorcycle club members. Typical of this trend, 6 members of a motorcycle club in Utah were recently stopped on 3 separate occasions, all within an hour, simply for associating with what one sheriff supervisor referred to as a threat group. No traffic infractions were issued. This incident is just the most recent in the undeniable pattern of evidence. Motorcycle profiling is proliferating nationally. The best hope of combating this epidemic is cost-free legislation at the state and federal level that prohibits the practice and provides a mechanism of relief for the victims. Now, just after midnight on August 18th of 2019, members of the Undefined Limits Motorcycle Club decided to go on a ride in beautiful Utah summer weather, meeting at a Maverick gas station to pick a destination. MC members noticed 2 Utah police cars carrying 4 officers parked off in the distance. Member Buster, believing that a traffic stop was inevitable, waved the other members of the group to the front. At the first stop sign, a complete stop was made and both feet were on the ground. Regardless, Buster and a hangaround of the club were pulled over for a stop sign violation. The first stop, Buster and the hangaround were pulled over for a stop sign violation again. The 2 sheriffs approached the riders with their hands on their firearms and demanded identification. After providing their driver's license for his and his brother's safety, Buster informed the sheriffs that he was carrying a firearm and had a legal CCW, even though no law in Utah dictates that holders are required to do so. The 2 riders were told to keep their hands on the handlebars and keep their kickstands up while one officer wrote the citation, and the other kept watch on the 2 riders. 30 minutes into the stop, member Big Rig came back to the scene to check on the safety of his brothers. The sheriff demanded his identification since he, quote, was on the scene. No citation was given to Big Rig. The total time for the simple traffic stop of the 2 individuals took a total of 45 minutes, a clear violation of his civil liberties as outlined in Rodriguez versus United States, and it was Big Rig, my fault. Second stop, after 20 minutes of waiting, several riders decided to head back in the direction of the Maverick gas station while pulling onto I-89. Member Clash noticed a Utah police car sitting in the darkness with all of the lights off. Once the group passed the parked patrol car, the officer immediately pulled out and approached the group. Quickly, the officer pulled over the rear rider, Clash, for an alleged turn signal violation. Clash was given a citation for an expired driver's license and a warning for the turn signal violation. During the stop, the sheriff mentioned that the department had just broken up a party being held by another motorcycle club, and the sheriffs assumed the riders were coming from said party. The real reason for the stops: club members Tech and R2 pull into the Maverick gas station and are immediately pulled over by one sheriff for yet another alleged turn signal violation. Member Tech asked to speak with the supervisor. Tech questioned the supervisor as the real reason for the stops, since 6 members were stopped in the previous 45 to 60 minutes. The supervisor responds, "Why do you think? Why do you think?" Tech responds, because we have this on, referring to his vest. A Utah police supervisor responds, "You are documented, okay? The club name are a documented threat group. That's how it is. So that's why we're doing this. That's why we're pulling people over, showing a clear bias and prejudice towards motorcycle club riders." Neither rider was issued a citation, though both were given written warnings. None of the 6 club members had any registration or insurance verified by the Davis County Sheriffs, nor were there any inspection stickers verified. This is one of the reasons the MPP believes this was nothing more than an intelligence gathering expedition. Legislative relief. The above events are just one more reason why legislative relief is needed in Utah and across the country. The intrusions on individual civil liberties simply for expressing their First Amendment right to freely associate needs to stop. And as the MPP has demonstrated, motorcycle profiling bills are the correct avenue to take. Next one by Tommy Witherspoon, and this one's got me going. A federal judge dismissed McClellan County as a defendant in a civil rights lawsuit filed by 3 bikers arrested after the 2015 Twin Peaks shootout, but ruled the plaintiffs can pursue claims against the city of Waco and 7 individual defendants. In a 22-page ruling Monday, U.S. District Judge Alan Albright threw out some of the claims filed by bikers Bradley Tierwigler, Benjamin Metchik, and Jimmy Dan Smith, as well as dismissing the county and 4 Waco police officers from the suit. The lawsuit filed by the 3 bikers, who were never indicted in the deadly shootout, is one of about 20 pending Twin Peaks civil lawsuits involving about 130 bikers with claims of unlawful arrest and conspiracy. The plaintiffs, represented by Dallas attorney Don Tittle, allege former McClellan County District Attorney Abel Reyna was the final policymaker for McClellan County regarding the events at Twin Peaks. Reyna and the county disputed the claim, and Albright, citing legal precedent in dismissing the county from the lawsuit, ruled that a county sheriff, not the district attorney, is the final policymaker. Quote, in some, plaintiffs allege that Reyna wrongly determined that the plaintiffs should be arrested based on only their presence at Twin Peaks. The order states, as discussed above, the sheriff, not the district attorney, is the final policymaker regarding preserving the peace and arresting all offenders. BS. Thus, regardless of Reyna's involvement in helping to decide whether the arrest should be made, he did not have authority to make municipal policy. The lawsuit alleges Reyna was the county's final policy maker because he, quote, was reasonable for devising the overall prosecutorial goals and strategies of the county on the day of the shootout that left 9 bikers dead and 20 injured. Even assuming that this is accurate, Reyna still cannot be the final policymaker in this context because plaintiffs complain of wrong arrest, not of wrongful prosecution, the order states. Thus, Reyna's prosecutorial goals and strategies are irrelevant to whether he was the final policymaker in the area of ordering and making arrests, because he had no authority to dictate policy in that area. Accordingly, the county cannot be held liable for Reyna's individual actions. The judge denied the city's motion to dismiss the lawsuit. Tittle declined comment on the judge's order. Dallas attorney Tom Brandt, who represents the county and Reyna and Waco attorneys Mike Dixon and Charles Olson, who represent the city of Waco and its officers, did not return phone messages. Oh my God, you gotta love it. There is no justice. We are pleased with the dismissal of some of the claims and some of the parties, and will continue to diligently litigate the remaining claims, Waco City Attorney Jennifer Ricci said. Remaining defendants now. The various rulings by Albright leave Reyna, the former district attorney, as the sole former county representative remaining in the lawsuit. Well, thank God. The order leaves claims pending against Brent Stroman, former Waco police chief, Robert Laning, assistant chief, Detective Jeffrey Rogers, and police officers Manuel Chavez, Patrick Swannon, Austin Evans, Jason Vela, Christopher Nail, and John Olivio, and Department of Public Safety agents Stephen Schwartz and Christopher Frost. Smith, the biker, brought a separate false arrest claim against Evans, Vila, Nail, and Olivio, which Albright dismissed after ruling the claim was insufficient to overcome the officer's qualified immunity. Smith alleges he left Twin Peaks during the shootout to take a wounded friend to the hospital. After leaving the hospital, Smith, Terry Wingler, and Matchik were parked at a closed business when the four officers approached them and eventually arrested Matchik and Terry Wingler on weapons charges. Smith was arrested for, quote, directing activities of criminal street gangs, even though he did not meet any of the elements whatsoever, the suit alleges. While a complaint does not need detailed factual allegations, a plaintiff's obligation to provide the grounds of his entitlement to relief requires more than labels and conclusions, and a formulaic recitation of the elements of a cause of action will not do, Albright wrote, quoting legal precedent in dismissing the officers from the suit. More than 200 bikers were jailed on identical arrest warrant allegations. Only one case went to trial, which ended in a hung jury favoring acquittal and a mistrial. District Attorney Barry Johnson, Reyna's successor, dismissed the remaining charges against the bikers. The lawsuit alleged the defendants violated the bikers' Fourth Amendment rights by obtaining arrest warrants based on a fill-in-the-name affidavit that lacked probable cause. They also alleged defendants violated their Fourth Amendment due process right to be free from unlawful arrest. Albright threw out the plaintiff's 14th Amendment claims, ruling the Fourth Amendment covers unlawful arrest. The order states Albright is referring to the case U.S. Magistrate Jeffrey Manzik to handle discovery issues. You know what? They went all through this, and then you got one of these federal judges. By 9 News staff, police are continuing to question a known bikie member over the shooting death of his ex-girlfriend on the Gold Coast. Ivana Jovanovich, 27, was found at Crisco's in Highland Park home with a gunshot wound to her chest on this past Sunday just after 8 p.m. Police believe a member of the Mongols outlaw motorcycle gang and up to 3 other people were with Miss Jovanovic at the Renfrew Drive property when she was shot. When police arrived at the scene, they had all fled, and neighbors reported seeing a car speed away from the location after the gunshot was heard. Miss Jovanovic was rushed to Gold Coast University Hospital but died from her injuries. Police confirm Panagakos returned to the crime scene at about 1 a.m. after hiding out in nearby bushland. He was arrested and remains in custody as assisting officers with their investigation. Detective Superintendent Brendan Smith said the group called an ambulance for Miss Jovanovich but slammed them for leaving her to die. Quote, "It's disgraceful. I'm sure if one of them had been injured in that manner, they would expect as much assistance as everyone there." Whilst they called the ambulance, there was a lot of first aid that could have been rendered at the time that may or may not have made a difference. We'll never know. So sad stuff right there.